Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Islands Uncovered. My name is Megan. I'm the host of this podcast, as well as the owner of Dare to Dream Travel, which exclusively books you and your family on Sandals and Beaches resort vacations down in the Caribbean. Today, we have kind of a fun episode. It was my son's birthday earlier this week, and my son loves incredibly spicy things. So I decided to do the story part of the podcast, which comes in the second part, all about spicy peppers down in the Caribbean, the difference in how the different islands use them, so that hopefully the next time that you go down there, you can maybe keep an eye out for these hot sauces and peppers, and maybe even in some of the dishes that Sandals or Beaches offer at their resorts. I know that when we go, my son is always looking to bring home a hot sauce or put spicy stuff on his food, get the jerk chicken. So hopefully you find this episode fun and interesting, talking about the spice and the peppers, as it's such a big part of the Caribbean culture and daily life. But like always, we are going to start out by talking about the latest Sandals promos and deals, rooms that I think you need to look out for in particular this week on the 777 deals, and how you could best utilize these savings to your advantage. So today we're in the last week of the Winter Blues sale. As a reminder, the biggest perk of this Winter Blues sale, in my opinion, is if you stay 7 or more nights, any room level, you are going to get a free Caribbean cruise for 2 people. That applies to the Beaches properties too. It's still just 2 people. So if you have more than 2 people in your group down at Beaches, you'll just have to buy a few more tickets if other people want to go on the cruise. But most people who go to Sandals or Beaches end up doing a catamaran cruise anyway. So I think it's a great perk anytime they add a catamaran cruise and there's no restrictions. Like there's no restrictions where you have to be in Jamaica. There's no restrictions for club level or higher. This is any reservation, any resort, 7 nights or more. So again, this goes through next week, February 2nd. This is also the last week where you're going to be able to combine the current 777 pricing with that deal. There's other things with that deal. You stay 5 nights, you get a $150 spa credit. There's the resort credit and the booking bonus. But those are the two. The catamaran cruise is the one thing that really sticks out to me. Otherwise, just something to keep in mind. Remember that anniversary discount is one of the best deals that you can get. If you travel within 30 days of your anniversary, forwards or backwards, and you stay in a club or butler room, you get 1 night free. So if you do the math, this shakes out better even than the loyalty discount. You can't combine it with the loyalty discount, but it's something to keep in mind because a lot of people think that that on-resort loyalty discount is the highest and best deal you're going to get. That is not always the case. So reach out. I will help you make sure that you are getting the best deals. I strongly believe in this. I do this for all of my clients. I really, really, truly will try to do this for you as well. If you reach out, if you're interested, let's price some things out. Let's make sure that you're applying all the discounts correctly and make sure you're getting this vacation at the very best rate. I've helped people that even have been going to Sandals and Beaches for a long time. Sometimes they'll reach out to me and I'll point something out to them that helps them save even more money. And my services are free. So it's a win-win. Okay, so besides the Winter Blues sale, I always like to talk about the current 777 rooms because these rooms are different every week. They come out on Wednesday and they are an extra 7% off through next week, Tuesday. It's 7 rooms at Sandals and it's 7 rooms at Beaches. So I'm going to just briefly go through the Sandals rooms and point some things out, and then we'll move to Beaches. Sandals, St. Vincent. Last week was the first week that they had offered a club room in a while. It was the fitness room that was the club level room. This week, they have the other club level room at Sandals St. Vincent available, which is the media room. So you have your sleeping room with the king bed, and then you have a separate room with a large TV, couch, and that's considered the media room. These rooms have huge closets. If you want to see a video tour or photos of these rooms, reach out. Also, club level rooms have the best views, in my opinion, at this resort. They're up a little higher. You see the water, you see the resort, you see the mountains around. Amazing. So, second week in a row, we've got one of the club rooms at St. Vincent. We haven't seen this category in a while. Then we have the one bedroom sky pool butler suite over at Sandals Negril. Negril last week, we hadn't seen in months. Months and months, Sandals Negril has not been on 777. Last week, we had a luxury room. This week, there's a butler room, a really nice one bedroom sky pool butler room on 777 at Sandals Negril this week. So if you're a butler person, you like Negril, you like that beautiful 7 Mile beach, this is your week. Aside from that, we've got Royal Plantation with another butler room. This is the Viceroy Honeymoon Oceanfront Butler Suite. All butler rooms at Sandals Royal Plantation. So we're just keeping that resort in the mix. We also have Sandals Royal Curaçao, which we have seen for many weeks in a row. We have the ASP, the Awa Seaside Butler Bungalow with the private pool. This room has kind of been rotating every other week, being on 777 for the last few. So it's once again on there. I don't know if it's going to continue to rotate through. So if you want it, I'm telling you, there is no reason to hold off and wait. When you know you want to go to Sandals or Beaches, put down a deposit on your room because your $400 deposit is fully refundable up until 45 days before you travel. So if you put a deposit down, you're locking in the current rate, you're locking in the current promotion. If your room goes on sale later and it qualifies, we can get the rate adjusted. That's no problem. You're locking in current rates for rooms into 2028. Prices are not just going to go down. They're going to go up. So as soon as you know that you want to go, lock in, put your deposit down, $400. If you decide you can't go, if something comes up in your life, we can get your deposit back. It's fine. Okay. And then we've got Sandals Royal Bahamian. Again, we've got another club level room. Last week it was a swim up. This week it's the West Bay Honeymoon club level oversized junior suite. So slightly less expensive than that swim up. Still in the West Bay building, still that club level. And we're seeing down in St. Lucia, we're seeing Regency La Toc again. This is going to be one of the Rondevals, the Butler Villa with the private pool. We have seen this a few weeks back on 777. They're new. So if you want to stay in a new Rondeval, La Toc is gorgeous. It's got the new Bucan restaurant that is the family style where they focus on local cuisine and spices. And I did that down at Sandals St. Vincent, which is the only other resort that has that restaurant. It's an experience. They only do 2 seatings a night. You get to sit with other people, which I know isn't everybody's cup of tea all the time, but it is fun to talk to other people who are staying there. Or, you can just talk to your travel partner too. That's fine. But the servers come out and they tell you about the food. And at least in St. Vincent, they brought out all of these spices that you can season your food with and just make it the way you want it. It was really fun. And they have one of these at La Toc. And I think it's a great resort. And then lastly, over at Sandals Ochi, we have the Honeymoon Hideaway, club level garden cottage. Again, this is another room that we've seen at Ochi that has been on 777 here and there throughout the last few weeks. So it's great. If you're interested in going to Ochi, this club level room is currently priced lower than some of the luxury level room categories. There's no view of the water. It's kind of tucked behind that main building, but you are on the beach side there. So reach out if you have questions on any of those rooms. Remember, they're an extra 7% off, but only through next week, Tuesday, which is February 3rd. And if you want to pair this with the Winter Blue sale, it's by February 2nd. So Monday, stick in your head so that you know. All right, moving over to Beaches. There are 7 rooms over at Beaches on 777 this week. Previously, we were doing 4 at Beaches Negril and then 3 rooms at Beaches Turks and Caicos. And I've seen over the last 2 weeks, we're now doing 4 rooms at Beaches Turks and Caicos and 3 at Beaches Negril. And I think that's because they've started including that Treasure Beach Village, the brand new one that's opening on March 1st. Because for the last few weeks, we've gotten a room in the Treasure Beach Village that's been on 777. So at Beaches Negril, we've got the simple Grand Lux Double, Grand Lux King entry level rooms. If you just want to go at a really great rate, you can get a king room, you can get a double room. Those are on extra 777 this week. And then we have from one extreme, the luxury lower cost rooms, to the other extremes, we have a Eventide penthouse, 3-bedroom butler walkout. Amazing room, 3 bedrooms, butler category. This is obviously going to be more of a premium price, but if you have a group and you want to try to get into one of these penthouses, the butler will be able to hook you up, get you into the restaurants when you want, save you spots at the beach or the pool. Really great amenities over at Beaches Negril. We had a great time this last year. That room is on 777 this week. And then going over to Beaches, Turks, and Caicos. So we've got 2 butler rooms, we've got a concierge room, and then the biggest highlight, I think, it's not the best, most expensive room, but something we have not seen in a long time. We have a luxury level room category at Beaches, Turks, and Caicos. So first, Italian Village. We always are getting something in the Italian Village. This week, it's the beachfront 2-bedroom walkout butler family suite. So it's that same setup in the Italian Village, but this one is beachfront, right by the beach, and it's a walkout. So on that main level there, and you have a butler. Perfect for Beaches, Turks, and Caicos when that resort is so big and you don't want to wake up early and try to save chairs. Although if you have kids, you probably are up early anyway, and that's why those chairs get taken so quickly, is because everybody's up at the crack of dawn. Otherwise, over in the Key West Village, we have an ocean view, 2-story, 2-bedroom butler suite. I've seen this. They're beautiful. You get gorgeous views of the water, 2 separate bedrooms. You get a butler, another great room option if you guys are looking to go to Beaches Turks and have that butler level service. Then once again, we're back at the brand new Treasure Beach Village. This is the Treasure Beach Ocean View Concierge Suite. So we're just going back and forth between the Treasure Beach Concierge Suite and the Ocean View Concierge Suite. We talked about the differences last week. I also have a different video on YouTube about the difference between the 2 rooms, where they are located, the floors, all that kind of stuff. So go to YouTube, search for my podcast, Islands Uncovered. I do separate videos that are of me. That's actually a video, not just me talking. And in this one, I'm talking about the differences between those 2 rooms. But this week, it's the ocean view. So if you're interested in the Treasure Beach Village, we've got a room again. And then the highlight for the rooms this week, as I was saying, we have the Caribbean Honeymoon Grand Lux Double Room. I am looking on my spreadsheet that I keep. I haven't seen a luxe room at Beaches Turks since the end of October last year. So Beaches Turks, it's a huge resort. It's a beautiful resort. You can stay in any of the villages and you have access to everything. You have access to the same restaurants. You have access to the same pools. You have access to the same beach. So some people just want to get into those lower cost rooms. This is one of those. We've got the Caribbean Village, which is closer to the water than the French Village, which is the other like entry level village category, the French and the Caribbean. So it's closer to the water. It's not waterfront. It's not right on the beach. You're going to have the main building of the Caribbean Village, and then in front of you, there's going to be some green space in one area. There's a little basketball court. Then you get some pools, and then you get the walkway, and then you get the beach. So there's no like big obstructing buildings blocking your view, but there is quite a bit of space between you and the water. But again, entry level room category. So if you want to just get in, this room can fit up to 4 people. These are only the rooms with the 2 double beds. It's got 2 double beds, and then it's got a sleeper chair in there. So if you've got 2 kids and one of them wants a bed and one of them wants a sleeper chair, I've said this before, my 12-year-old slept on a sleeper chair last summer. She was perfectly fine. So it's not just for little peanuts. Like it will work. They can also bring a rollaway in if you'd rather have a rollaway in there. It's tight, but it will fit. This room will sleep, like I said, max of 4 people. Or they have cribs. I don't know if everybody knows that. They do have cribs that they can bring into. Anyway, sleeps up to 4. It's a shower tub combo in these rooms. Also, every room has a balcony. These are going to be in the main building. They are on the third floor of the main building on both the east and the west wing. So again, if you're looking for a steal to get in to Beaches Turks and head over to the new Treasure Beach Village or take advantage of the big Italian pool, all that's available. Even if you stay in these lower luxe level rooms, reach out if you want more info. As a reminder, Beaches does not go on sale during spring break, around Christmas and New Year's. Anytime that your kids have a vacation, it's tough. You know what we always do? Pro tip, look in October. Usually kids have off of school like 1 or 2 days for the end of the quarter. We went last year, and I know you're like, Megan, it's hurricane season. I don't want to risk it. I get it. But also, if you get the insurance or you just have to be comfortable knowing that things can happen. Some people are more flexible than others. We went last year during that week, and it was sunshine, hot the entire week that we were there. It was absolutely gorgeous. And it's the best rates. Plus, you're getting this extra 7% off. Plus, if you stay 5 nights, you get the $150 spa credit. Plus, if you stay 7+ nights, you get the catamaran cruise. So there you go. You really have no excuse of why you shouldn't book a trip to Beaches. If you've been wanting to go and you just want to get in and see what it's all about, great week to do so. Got to book by next Tuesday to get this deal. I don't know what's going to be on 777 next week. They don't let the travel advisors know this in advance. So if you want a luxury level room, this is your week. I haven't seen it since October. All right. I mentioned in the beginning of the episode that we were going to talk about peppers. Caribbean peppers, heat, spice. You might love it, you might hate it, but it's definitely fun to learn about, especially if you go down to the Caribbean a lot, because a lot of people just think of spice and they might think of Jamaica and jerk chicken, but Sandals and Beaches are on many different islands down in the Caribbean, and they don't all do spice or use the peppers the same way. So when people from, the States or the UK, I know there's some people listening to this from the UK, go down to the Caribbean the next time, like I said, look for these hot sauces that I'm mentioning. Look for these brands I'm mentioning. The hot sauces that I want to point out today are going to be, I tried to look for locally made on each island. So I did my best. Or maybe you know some that I didn't mention. Shoot me a message about it. I'd love to hear about it. My son is always looking for hot sauce, and I would love any recommendations that you can send my way. Okay. So we are going to take a little journey, a little hot sauce journey today, a little spicy journey. And we're going to start with maybe one of the spiciest of all, and that is Jamaica, of course. So in Jamaica, we all think of jerk. Jerk, as a term, refers to the way that a meat is seasoned and smoked and grilled. And a historical jerk seasoning, what I learned, calls for bird peppers, pimento, pepper elder, and more modern recipes might include things like Scotch bonnet peppers and scallions and ginger and garlic and pimento thyme. So what I learned from doing this research is that jerk is a remnant from the era of their slavery there in Jamaica, when the Maroons would try to transform the tougher cuts of meat into more tender cuts and add flavor so that they would be more edible. So especially jerk chicken today is a large part of Jamaican Christmas dinner. There's 2 types of jerk seasoning, a powder and a paste, and all of them are available in mild and middle and spicy varieties. And then we have ackee and saltfish, which is the national dish of Jamaica, and it's commonly served for breakfast or brunch. So that's going to be a salted codfish with the boiled ackee, which is a savory fruit, which kind of has a texture described as scrambled eggs. And they put it with onions and tomatoes and peppers and spices. So as you can imagine, hot sauce gets put on that as well. And then when you are in Jamaica next time, or here in the States, because I have found it here. Okay, Walker's Wood Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. This is a classic Jamaican Scotch bonnet heat that goes on many, many things. It's made in Jamaica in St. Anne, and they make a whole bunch of different seasonings and cooking sauces and spices and things. But it was registered in 1978. And the company started just a part of like the rural community to create employment for the people. And now they have a full time staff of over 80 and a growing demand because it is distributed worldwide. So, Walkerswood, I will tag it in the show notes. This is what I used the other night to put on. My son actually requested jerk chicken for his birthday. So, this is what I put on the chicken. I was a little heavy handed, but I did find this here. It's the same brand. I strongly encourage you to look it up or look up to see what they're using when you go down to Jamaica the next time. Obviously, at many Sandals, you've got the Jerk Shack, which is going to give you the jerk chicken. And I believe there's pork and sausage and then fish. But the fish, from my recollection, it's not spicy. But also, if you go to Sandals Dunn's River in Ocho Rios, I know for a fact that at Odessa, they have the saltfish and ackee. So you can try that there as well. Maybe throw a little hot sauce on it. Okay, now from Jamaica, we move over to the Bahamas. Jamaica, we had the jerk, and in the Bahamas, the heat that they use there is trying to amplify more seafood and citrus. So think conch salad and cracked conch, which is a fried conch that they put hot sauce on. So hot sauce is used there more as like a finishing condiment, like you have it on the side and you sprinkle it on the top as opposed to cooking with it. Bahamian goat pepper sauce. There's no goat in it. It's just the type of pepper. So look for Bahamian goat pepper sauce. It's thicker. It's originating from the Bahamas. Like I said, it's characterized by a sweeter profile and it's made primarily with the rare goat pepper. So similar to the Scotch bonnet pepper, but it's mixed with ingredients like lime juice and mustard. You're going to see mustard used a lot in the hot sauces throughout the Caribbean. But lime juice, mustard, roasted garlic, onion, and vinegar. And the heat that it creates is like medium to hot. So it's mostly peppers, garlic, onion, and mustard in this sauce. It's going to give it a little bit of a flavor profile, as you can imagine, than the Jamaican jerk. If we're looking at brands, I want to point out Devonia's Spices. I think it's Devonia's Manufacturing now, but D apostrophe Vanya's. Okay, started more than 25 years ago by Greg Douglas, who was a well-known Bahamian singer, and he was part of two very successful singing groups. They toured overseas, and then he decided to launch this food-related business so that his family could have some income while he was away with the band. Okay, so he wanted to create this brand, which was truly Bahamian. So again, I will put it in the show notes. That is something to look for when you are down in the Bahamas. I know that at Sandals Royal Bahamian, they have the food trucks. Food truck has the conch salad. I love the conch salad in the Bahamas. I get that as a snack all day long. It's perfect. Shake some hot sauce on there to spice it up. Although, if I'm remembering correctly, it does have a little kick even without it from the peppers that they put in. It's very, very good, fresh, refreshing. All right. So we've been up in the northern part of the Caribbean. Now we're jumping way down to the south part of the Caribbean. We're going to Curaçao. So Curaçao is much different from these islands in the north. Curaçao is right next to South America. The peppers are used more. They have like a big aroma to them more than just straight heat. So there's going to be Scotch bonnet, and then there's going to be this Madame Jeanette pepper. And it's most commonly used through what is called pica, which is a tableside hot sauce, which has pickled onions and peppers in it. So it's got a little bit of, you put it on like the Creole influenced stews, or I read about putting it on these spicy meatballs because remember, there's a big Dutch influence down there. It's more of a sweet heat as opposed to just that intense spice. So We've got the pica. It's a staple condiment. So you make it by pickling the hot peppers and onions and vinegar and spices. It's a little bit more fruity. It's described as having more of a mango-like aroma. And what I want to point out is not necessarily a hot sauce, but I wanted to point out this brand. It's called Spica. It's just Spika, and it's actually an oil. So for 30 years, this woman named Sonia, hence the S at the beginning of the pica, was perfecting her recipe, and eventually, she wasn't starting out thinking that she was going to sell it, but everybody who tasted it was like, you got to sell this stuff. And so she started manufacturing it after living abroad for about 28 years. She came back to Curaçao and she brought the Spica oil recipe with her and started to mass produce it. So now it's sold, I believe, around the world. I will link it. Definitely keep an eye on it when you go down to Curaçao. I don't know specifically if you can get anything with this oil in it at Sandals Royal Curaçao. If anybody knows that, please let me know. But I would think that maybe the food truck area at Sandals Royal Curaçao is going to be your best bet for trying more of the local flavors. All right, now we've got Sandals Grenada. Grenada is literally called Spice Island. So the peppers that are there and the pepper sauces reflect this. Again, this is more of a pepper sauce that's used on the side and added afterwards. I read about hot sauces there that used a lot of the Grenadian spices in it. There is a signature dish in Grenada. It's called oil down, where coconut milk and breadfruit and dumplings and spice are all put in a pot. And it's the national dish of Grenada. So it's like this hearty one pot stew of breadfruit and salted meats and dumplings and coconut milk. And you can certainly add the Scotch bonnet pepper sauce from Grenada to this dish. And it blends really well with all of their local spices that they have on hand. The brand that I wanted to point out was Island Delectables, which is a local Grenadian hot sauce. It did not have a lot of information, but they were one of the few that was local. And so I just wanted to give them a shout out to keep your eye out for them while you're in Grenada. And if you're at Sandals Grenada, I would head over to the restaurant called Spices. And that's where you're going to be able to get more of a sampling of the local foods from Grenada. All right, staying kind of in that same area, a little bit out further to the east, we've got Barbados. There are 2 Sandals properties on Barbados. So they specifically use the Bahan pepper sauce. It's a daily condiment. It's made from Scotch bonnet peppers. You're going to see that mustard and the turmeric and the vinegar again. Also similar to Curaçao, it's got more of a fruity heat to it, but they put it on a lot of stuff. Grilled fish, fried plantains, stews, marinades, snacks. This Bahan pepper sauce is pretty much just on every table, similar to like salt and pepper. You're going to see it mostly on fishes, meats, but you can also, like I said, put it in stews and soups and rice dishes to add that flavor depth. It's not vinegar heavy. It's thicker and it's mustard yellow from that turmeric. It's extremely hot. So use it sparingly if you are down there. Now, if you are in Barbados, look out for flying fish and cuckoo. It's the national dish of Barbados. It's going to be fried flying fish fillets served with a blend of cornmeal and okra. You can certainly add a hot sauce to it. I would look out for Aunt May's and Lottie's Bahan pepper sauce. Remember, it's that bright yellow orange mustard base. That's what you're looking for. There's no universal handle that I can tie to, but if you happen to be in a grocery store or maybe they have it on the resort, I don't really know about that. But look for those 2 brands. If you go to Sandals Barbados, the restaurant Schooners, it does have a peppered reef shrimp that is their signature dish. It has a Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. I'm not sure if it's the local ones we're talking about today, but you are going to get some heat for sure with that dish. All right, then we've got Antigua. Antigua's pepper culture is particularly tied to the Scotch bonnet and the habanero. So this is slow burning heat that they put in what they call pepper pot, which is a long simmered stew of the meats and the root vegetables. The peppers are often added like whole into the stews and stoops. I keep saying stoops. Can that just be a word for stew and soup? If I say stoop, you'll know what I mean. Okay. So it's more in the flavor of the pepper is integrated into the dish through the cooking rather than adding like a sharp burst of heat from like a seasoning at the end. So, funky and pepper pot, national comfort food. It's got a lot of depth to it. It's a savory cornmeal and okra dumpling. Like I said, it's paired with this mixed meat and vegetable stew. If you are looking for local hot sauces, look for Susie's hot sauce. That is classic to Antigua, and it has won multiple awards. It was founded back in 1960, and they even featured when Barack Obama became president, there was like this limited edition bottle that had his picture on it. They don't make those anymore, but I thought that was cool. Susie, her daughter, Rosemary, took over, but she just passed away is what I read. She passed away on January 17th of this year. So hopefully they have the legacy set up that somebody can continue to make Susie's hot sauce, because from what I hear, it was definitely a good one. And if you are down there at Sandals Grand Antigua, I'd go over to Eleanor's. They've got what's called the local favorite omelet that you can put some hot sauce on. I don't see anything specific with the pepper pot, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know all of the menus. They change all the time. All right, 2 more. We've got St. Vincent. St. Vincent goes at it with the heat. It's often homemade. It's a blend of the vinegar. The vinegar is making it come back here with the mustard and the local peppers like the Scotch bonnet and the Moruga scorpion pepper. Okay, essential everyday condiment. Just like some of the other islands, it's just on the table. You can add heat to pretty much anything. A lot of people use it with the callaloo and root veggie stews. As you could tell, stews are big down in the Caribbean. Think it's a little bland? Add some hot sauce. As I mentioned previously, St. Vincent does have that restaurant boucan where they showcase all of the local ingredients. There's tons of spices and different condiments and things that you can add onto your food. Definitely check out the dishes there. We're going to shout out Mabel's hot sauce. That was the local brand that I looked up. It doesn't have any social media handles that I can tag, but remember Mabel's. And then also, if you're at Sandals St. Vincent, head over to Parasol. This is nothing to do with this specific hot sauce, but I just wanted to shout out on that menu. There is a local dish called Doubles. And I know that sounds weird, but it's this turmeric flatbread with curried chickpeas, and it's got this mango chutney, and it's got this breadfruit hash on the side. I ordered it because I always try to order things that are so different than what I would normally get here at home. And it was delicious. I had it with a glass of champagne, looking out over the water. That's right. I didn't even bother to throw the orange juice in the champagne. I just drank the champagne, but it was so good. And it would certainly be good with a dash of hot sauce as well. Okay, last one for Sandals. We are at St. Lucia. So St. Lucia, there's 3 Sandals in St. Lucia. St. Lucia is going to have the most herbaceous of the hot sauces. They still use the Scotch bonnet peppers and the mustard, but they also use local fruits like mango and pineapple to give it a little bit of that fruity taste. And again, we're drizzling it on the fish and the meats and the soups, or the stoops, as I like to say. Classic dish is going to be green fig and saltfish. It's very savory, particularly eaten for breakfast or lunch. And the brand that I wanted to shout out, Viking Traders Damn Hot Pepper Sauce. Award-winning Caribbean heat with herbal depth. From St. Lucia, definitely keep your eye out for that. It was established in 1979. Viking Traders produces this along with other products like banana ketchup. It's going to be available at a lot of St. Lucian retailers. Maybe it's at Sandals. Check the gift shop. People, if you're listening and you are at these resorts, let me know if these hot sauces are in the gift shop. I need to know. But what I liked about this, the story about this hot sauce too, was it was a married couple and they worked together for their whole lives, and they filled up this old book with recipes and ideas, and that's their legacy, is making these hot pepper sauces. So definitely a shout out to them. And then also Windfresh hot Caribbean pepper sauce, which has more of the fruit and herb infusion, which is classic to the St. Lucia style. Shout out to Sandals Regency La Toc, as I mentioned in the beginning. They have a boucan. It's one of the two. So if you are looking for local flavors of St. Lucia, definitely head over there and try to get a reservation at that restaurant as well. Okay. Those are all the islands. Those are all the peppers. They all tie in together, but they are all different. All of the islands use the peppers differently. They put different things in the hot pepper sauces. I hope you learned a little bit of something today about spice, even if you're not a spice person. You can just sound knowledgeable about the spice after listening to this. Like I said, keep your eye out for these hot sauces, whether you're going to a local market on the islands, whether you are in the Sandals gift shop. Let me know what is there. The biggest takeaway from this episode today is that use your opportunities when you go to Sandals and Beaches to try something outside of your comfort level. It's all inclusive. I know we don't like to waste food, and that's not what I'm advocating for, but I'm advocating for trying something different. And if you really don't like it, you can get something else. And it's not costing you anything. Now is the time. That's the time to try this stuff. Add a little of the hot sauce to it. Try the doubles. Go to Boucan. Try the different foods. That's part of the fun. Go off resort and find some restaurants that offer original, authentic food to the Caribbean islands. And then let me know what you think. I would love to hear every recommendation for hot sauce, restaurants. And if you're listening and you're from the islands and you have a restaurant or hot sauce that I didn't mention and you want me to do a shout out, please let me know. I'm putting all my social media handles in the show notes today, as well as all the links for all of the hot sauces that I mentioned. Not everybody has social media links and websites, but I will do my best and I'll create the link so that you can take a little cheat sheet with you to the Caribbean the next time you go and pick up yourself some of this hot sauce to bring home. All right. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. Please reach out. Let's get you on vacation to Sandals or Beaches. Let's get you into Beaches, Turks, and Caicos and take advantage of that great deal they have going on now for that luxury room. Thanks again for listening. And I can't wait to share another story with you next week.